Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 270 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And apologies that this week's episode is a few days late. I just got back from my Roman vacation, and you can check out pictures and video on the official Mistress Carrie Facebook and Instagram accounts. They're all linked in the show notes of this episode. Well, the show may be a few days late, but it was worth the wait because bassist Dennis Dunaway, the original bassist from the Alice Cooper Band, is my guest this week. The Revenge of Alice Cooper, the original lineup's first album in 50 years, is available everywhere. I sat down with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee to talk about how they were able to put this album together, where they found Glen Buxton's guitar tracks for the record, dyeing his wife's hair, and so much more. The man is a living legend, and I was so excited that he agreed to come on the show. So allow me to introduce you to Dennis Dunaway from the Alice Cooper Band.
I don't know if you have manic panic in your hair, but my wife has blonde hair, and then underneath is manic panic rock and roll red.
Oh, really? No.
Which I do for her.
It's not manic panic. I have a really good hairdresser named Linda.
Oh, okay. Well, my wife has a really good hairdresser named Mr. Dennis. That's me.
I have learned over the years black towels and black pillowcases save everything.
Yeah, well, she has red hair, so we use red pillowcases.
Dennis, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. What a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, this is great.
I feel weird saying your first album in 50 years. That seems like such an unlikely thing to say. Does it feel weird for you?
The excitement. It's just nothing but a blast. The worldwide response to this album. I mean, it's number one in all these different countries, and it's wild. But yeah, right. We used to do 2 albums a year. Now we're doing 2 every century, I guess.
I need to hear the story about how this started, because I know over the years you've still continued to work with Alice, but when you decide to put the band back together, who made the first call? Whose idea was it?
Well, step by step, we've done so many things. I mean, being inducted into the Rock Hall in 2011, that was a big step. My book, Snakes, Guillotines, Electric Chairs, My Adventures in the Alice Cooper Group, I think that brought the band back together because I talked about all the good memories that we had. And, you know, I think recently the icing on the cake is that Neil goes out to Arizona in the winter, and Michael lives there. And so they would get together and kick around songs. And when Alice would come to town, he would join them. And they came up with some songs they got excited about and said, okay, this time we're really going to do it. And that was it.
Then you bring out the big guns with a man named Bob Ezrin to put this whole thing together. And I think any rock fan knows, even if you don't know anything about music production, we know who Bob Ezrin is.
Yeah, Bob actually was the main catalyst for this happening because, without Bob is like part of the band. That chemistry is so perfect. And So when we're in the studio, we know it's going to sound good. You know, you're not guessing about how this producer's going to end up mixing your song or whatever. And not only that, but Bob, you know, we all learned the ropes together. Love It to Death was our third album, and it was Bob's very first album ever. So he knows how we work. He knows that we all have lots of ideas and that we all are very passionate about those ideas. And he allows that all to happen. In fact, he's even like the cheerleader for it. But he also is a great producer in that if it looks like we're going to spend too much time deciding what we want to do to a particular part of a song, he'll crack the whip and say, we're doing it that way, let's move on. And so that's what a producer does.
I'm always fascinated by the archives of material that we as fans never get to hear. Because when you read something like, yeah, we found this guitar track from Glen Buxton that we decided to use on the album, how big is this vault that we don't get to see?
Well, unfortunately, tape does have a lifespan, and a lot of my tapes from back in that era got disintegrated, and I lost them. So there's a lot of lost things. But that particular cassette tape of Glenn and I jamming at 3 o'clock in the morning at the Gillespie Estate in 1973, that I kept in a special place away from magnets and then away from moisture and everything, because all these years I thought, I'm going to finish that song. And so I gave it to Bob, and he cleaned it up digitally and put a click track to it. And in the studio, on the spot, we wrote a song that we thought would have been what Glenn would have liked. And it almost happened so fast that it was almost like the song was already written.
Does it surprise you, releasing this album, the first in 50 years, that vinyl is almost bigger than it was when you guys released your last record? Because you're releasing The Revenge of Alice Cooper on colored vinyl like everybody else.
Yeah, I know. It's remarkable. I mean, Goldmine magazine, which is kind of like the Bible of record collectors, they have a great article about this new album, by the way, cover story. But they almost went out of business at one point. And then all of a sudden people started buying vinyl again, and now they're bigger than ever. So go figure. It's great though. I mean, you know, we grew up with that big album size graphics and everything. So you'd get a new album and you'd open, especially a gatefold, you would open it up and you'd read all of everything on it and look at the pictures while you listen to the album over and over for weeks, you know. So we can relate to that, and our fans can relate to that, and it's great that younger people can too. I think our popularity with younger people is obviously because of School's Out, but it's great to see young people that are interested in our style of music.
Well, when you got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and you hear artists say that they were inspired by you guys, and you go and look at the generations of artists that always harken back to the Alice Cooper band and say, no, we didn't start this. I mean, you look at bands or artists like Rob Zombie or Manson or Slipknot or whoever it is, they always point back to you guys. So that Rock Hall induction and getting that credit, I guess, not that you went into it for the credit, but you deserve the credit.
Well, you know, and we had our influences. We had, you know, Elvis and Little Richard and even Liberace, you know, he was glammed out. So we had our influences too. So if anything that gets passed on through us, it's a compliment. I mean, anybody that does anything theatrical, you know, I'm all for.
Every time I have a bass player on the show, I have to ask them the Geddy Lee question. I read a quote from Geddy Lee that said, no one goes into music wanting to be a bass player. They play guitar, they join a band, and then they need a bass player and you get voted in. Is that what happened to you?
Exactly. Alice and I started a band, and 1964 in art class, and we decided, let's start a band and we'll incorporate artistic ideas, surrealism and pop art into it. And so we needed somebody that knew how to play. Glen Buxton was a fellow student, and we asked him if he wanted to be in the band, and he said yes. And then another student at Cortez High School said, I'll be the drummer. And we said, okay, Alice has to be the singer because he can remember words. And what was left? Bass. So that's why I play bass. It was the only instrument left.
When you have a career as long as yours and you have such iconic music, where's the weirdest place you've bumped into your own music? An elevator, the supermarket, walking by a club in some weird country. Where have you bumped into it and been like, how is this happening right now?
Oh my God. All of those things have happened. I think, maybe not the most unexpected, but one thing that really, was heartwarming is hearing it over the intercom at a school on the last day of school. School's out, and hearing it in a school in the environment that we imagined when we wrote the song, that was a biggie.
I am always giggling at the idea that rock stars have these phones filled with other rock star phone numbers in them. So when you guys are working on a project like this, you just call Robbie Krieger. That's how it works. You just call the guy and be like, hey, do you want to work on this thing we're doing?
Yeah, Robbie's definitely one of those in the phone, And, we met the Doors in 1967. We became friends. And so on this song, Black Mamba, which we wrote in the studio together, we imagined that Glenn would play slide guitar, which he used to play with a spoon. And since he was friends with Robbie, we thought, well, Robbie's the best slide player, so let's get him. And it was like a one phone call deal. We sent the song to him and he sent it back with a guitar track.
Does it ever get old to have music fans like myself freak out when they meet you or talk about your music because you're so influential and so important to rock and metal fans? Does it weird you out that we get so freaked out? Because I understand how weird we can be to you.
Well, like they say, it beats crickets chirping, The only time it's annoying is like if my dinner just arrived at the table and and my dinner's getting cold while I'm hearing somebody tell me about something that I did that I already know about. But, it's great because like we did this thing in London on July 24th, the night before the official release date of this album. And the room was full, almost 1,000 people that were nothing but adoring fans. And that feeling, you can just feel that energy. That's what it's all about. When a band is on stage, it's, you send out the energy and the energy comes back tenfold. And that's what a live concert is about. So without adoring fans, we'd be playing to an empty room. Come on.
Before I let you go, I have to do my job and ask, is this the last thing we're going to hear from you guys? I know you just released your first album in 50 years. Is it possible that other stuff is coming now that you guys are working on stuff together?
Well, everybody seems to be talking about it, mainly because we had enough songs to do 5 albums when we were in the studio. So we have a lot of songs that we love that didn't make the final cut for this. So I think there's, keep your fingers crossed. I think there's a possibility.
Well, I can't tell you how much of an honor it was to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And best of luck containing the hair dye. I know red hair dye at home looks like a murder scene in the tub. So good luck with that.
Yeah, okay. Well, we try to stay on top of it, but thank you for helping us spread the word.
So nice to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
See you later.
Rock on. We're back, baby.
There he is, Dennis Dunaway from the original Alice Cooper Band. The Revenge of Alice Cooper, the new album, is available everywhere and is featured on the corresponding playlist for this week's episode. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview, and it's linked in the show notes. You'll also find all of Dennis's links, all the Alice Cooper links, and of course, all the Mistress Carrie links. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday, plus every weekday you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report gives you all your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. You can join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. Get the details on all of that and more at MistressCarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.